I thought I would share about today's reading, October 17th. I thought when it comes to groups, because it discusses groups here, my name is Ina Irby, and I'm a mom. I thought I would share quickly. I think it's interesting that a group can help itself and be responsible enough to not have an ultimate authority. And that isn't always what I see when I get in a group setting where it's organized. That's where I came from as one of Jehovah's Witnesses, that everything is always done in a group setting with certain individuals that, even though they say they're not the leaders, where they are always feeling like they have to have a say in what a person or how a person thinks, what a person does. So it's very high control. And when it comes to getting into different groups, I still feel there's always a hesitance there. I was kicked out of the Al-Anon group because I wasn't in the right group. There's always that one person that feels they have to speak up for the rest and tell you to get out or do it right. And that's always hard. I just always feel like, okay. I remember my dad taking me to his group, and he was a full-fledged alcoholic and learning how to live. And it was good for me to see in that I saw that they were individuals, they were people, they had families, they had responsibilities, they had good jobs, and yet they were broken people. Sorry, that's my tea. Be right back. I got to see a different side of them, individuals that lost their compass points, and they were broken because people in their lives didn't do things that required healing. They didn't do things right to them, and so now these individuals required healing. And so sometimes it's okay not to play by the rules. I remember too, as one of Jehovah's Witnesses, we always had to qualify for standing at a cart or qualify for being in a pioneer group to listen to the circuit overseer talk. So you had to get to a certain amount of hours and say that you were going to sign a piece of paper that said I was going to get to this point, and then I could qualify to listen. And sometimes, it's all that red tape that I find very frustrating. And then by the time you get to whatever it is that the group wants you to get to, it's kind of a downer because it wasn't exactly what you anticipated. And I think that's why it was kind of cool when my dad took me to his group and let me kind of see it and see. He just said, shh, stay quiet, just listen. Like, oh, okay, are you sure I'm supposed to be here? Oh, shh, don't worry about it. So, whether he played by the rules or not, he was always very loving about it. And to be honest, it was a good experience. So sometimes it's okay not to play by the rules. And I found that people in groups that were such sticklers, I generally probably didn't want to be in the group anyway. Like I said, I'm still very leery about groups. So a group think, it tends to scare me. It tends to scare me. Although I know that there are healthy groups out there. I know there are, but there has to be. Mr. Mitchell, he's always one to tell me, well, this is what I learned and this is what I learned. And that helps to hear people have good experiences. Unfortunately, my experiences so far, they haven't been horrible. they just haven't been healthy. So I'm glad that I can recognize it now, and I had a good experience with ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, an ex-Jehovah's Witness group at a home, and that was very healthy, and no one made me feel like I had to do or act or say a certain thing. I was very free to express myself, and that always helps, is when you're in a group where there's a leeway there, and I feel safer where no one is a certain way of thinking, that it has to be a certain way of thinking, and that it's not this big pull of the group to make you feel a certain way. And that's why I feel as at this point, it's almost, I don't really know, I think it's 389 or 390 days I've been out. I have to double check, but that's why I have always seemed to be growing kind of by myself. I have my husband, I have a couple other close friends. Individual, I haven't gotten involved in any physical groups where I get to meet people. I had one group that I did do, and that was very healthy. I was just before COVID. And like I said, I was in that other group that wasn't healthy. And it was a small ExJW break-off group for Christianity. And it wasn't healthy. And it took me a while. I realized that I just need quiet time. I just need to try and breathe through it. I had to be okay with not being in a group setting and not being in a majority group thought. I could still find individuals that I could grow with and do a lot of my growth work on my own. And so that has helped a lot. So have I found a group yet? Not necessarily. And I know that Al-Anon helps a lot of people. It helped my dad. He probably would have died a lot earlier if he didn't have these individuals that were willing to help him and help him grow and get better from his alcoholism. He had 2 DUIs, and I think that is one of the reasons why he ended up going to AA, is because it was the judge had mandated it, and so he ended up having to go. So it worked out because he lived a little bit longer, so that was good. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for Al-Anon, and I am grateful for healthy groups. And so if you can find that healthy group out there, good. I'm grateful for you. I'm happy for you. And I found that I like to listen a lot, and I like to observe the groups and see how things kind of grow from those groups. And I know that not everybody is healthy. I mean, that's why we're all there, right? So we're trying to figure it out, and I get it. So yes, I just wanted to share that. Sometimes groups are scary. They are for me. So I would imagine that they are for a lot of other people who come out of something like the cult of Jehovah's Witnesses. And so I hope that when you hear someone else's fears, you can say, well, maybe that's how I feel too, or identify in certain ways, or not. That's fine too. That's fine too. So I hope this helps you on your healing journey. Follow your bliss. Be good, humans.